Debbie with Kips Corner. Welcome back. I finished it. I finished Use Your Wings, and it's not the end of May yet. It's really, really close, but it's not the end of May yet. So this is the flip through, and she's done. Woohoo! This is the front, and I'll just give you sort of a close up. That's legit vintage tape there. And that's kind of what she says, use your wings down here. And then she's just lots of texture, lots of stuff going on. Here's the side and the back. Let me get that out of the way. The back. And this is the tag that I had made that will go with the journal. And this journal will be available in my Etsy shop at the same time that I post this video. So here she is. This is a knob closure, and what I'm doing is it's kind of serving two purposes here. It's closing the journal, but it's also closing this flap, which is hinged. And if you just push down and pop off, this lifts up to reveal the back side of this. It's kind of like a journal, but with lots of beautiful writing, complete grunge. I've sealed this with matte gel medium, again, natural tape, the real McCoy here also. I've sealed it with matte gel medium. I just used fabric, grunged up dyed fabric pieces to create the hinge. And then this is a piece of grungy fabric on the back, some metal, there's a little bit of gilding in there. There's just a little fabric swatch. There's a rusted washer peeking out there. This is a piece from Tracie Fox's bird specimen tags kit. Some feathers. And then this is a cutout from Tracie Fox's bumper birds kit. And I've put some clear rock candy on the top of it with a spritz of, I think it was frayed burlap was the color I used on top. You spritz it and then just kind of tap it off. And it gets that color down into those little cracks and crevices in there. And this is another piece of a journal. You can tell it was ripped down here at the bottom. Another journal in the very background with the marbling. Then on the outside, the very outside, the paper, this is all fabric that I scrunched up as I laid it down. And then I did some dry brushing over top of it. A little bit of texture, so it's got a little bit of a mud feeling, and then I did some white dry brushing on top of it as well. So this is the bird's nest here on front. Lots of pieces on this. I had too many to even talk about. An optometrist lens, rusty washers. This is watchmaker's parts. This is glass. It will break. So just so you know, this is not something you want to slam open. Carpenter masonry nail, some more fabric with a little bit of stitching on it. These are all balsa wood pieces here on the very back that have texture on them, and then color, some rusty clips, some metal pieces. These are some pieces from the spine of an old book, a little bit of lace, some trim, some fibers, more stitching, some real wood pieces, a rusty key, and it goes on and on and on. And then, like I said, when you open this flips open, but then the whole book flips open like this. So I can get it in there. Oh, wait, before I do that, real quick, to the spine, we are at 7 3/4 wide by 9 inches tall, and we're looking at, the spine is right at 2 inches on the height. Okay, now let's open it up. In the front, this is a vintage handkerchief here with just a couple pieces. This is from a bird book I have. The Art of Birds, I believe is what it's called. And it's just page after page of birds in art, different artists from different times. Just a gorgeous, gorgeous book. And so I've used several of those pieces throughout here. Just some sewing on it and just some dyed paper on the back. This is a tag from Tracie Fox's Bumper Birds kit. And I just added some texture and a rusty washer up, or a paper clip up at the top. And again, this is just backed with some, scrapbook paper on the back, solid blue. And here we go. I've used, there's a lot of modeling paste through stencils on a lot of the pages. And what I did to create the color on here was use the stencil first with walnut stain distress ink, and then didn't clean it. And so that ink is reactive, with moisture. And so as I brushed the modeling paste through, it created sort of this distressed color. And so I did that throughout, just to give that modeling paste a little bit of color without actually adding color to it. The birds, all the die cut birds in here are from Tracie's Bumper Birds kit, and not die cut, fussy cut. And I fussy cut all of them, and then half of them I used Seth Apter's Vintage Beeswax embossing powder on top, and it gives this beautiful shine and a really cool texture, and in just a hint of sort of that vintagey color. On the other half, I used the Clear Rock candy on top of them, so they have a different kind of texture. So there's half and half. There's a little weaving window, a woven window, a window with a weaving, a window with a weaving. And I've got a video showing how I did those. And there's just a couple of those in here. Lace on the edge, and this is sort of like a corset lace. It's got a ribbon running through it. Really pretty. More stenciling. Got some crinkle in here. Got some crinkly paper. I've used a lot of pages from ledgers just because that handwriting and the old pages, I just thought they were beautiful. And so this is a page from 1854 from a ledger. And I've lined all of those pages with the marble washi tape from Tim Holtz, just gorgeous. I also have a couple pages where I've added some alcohol dyed Scotch tape to give it that vintage look. And so there's just a few pieces of those here and there. Some of the ledger papers that I've used are just plain so that you can write on them. This piece is from a different bird book I have. It's like a little bird guide. But then the rest, this background piece is from Tracie's Bumper Birds. And then this tag is from her bird specimen tag kit, as well as the image there. And so I didn't do a whole lot to that. I just added the image to top. That kit has a ton of gorgeous rectangular kind of shaped bird images that are just beautiful. And then I've got some more tape here, some sewing on here. These are just some fibers that are sewn onto a little piece of fabric, and some messed up sewing. And then here's some more modeling paste. This is sort of a textured paper, just a little bit of gesso on top of that. This is an image from Tracie's kit, Bumper Birds. This piece back here, this little tag, is from the specimen tag kit. And then the number is from the number snip strips kit. So those are 3 different kits right there. And on top of this, or actually just in the center, on the inside of the sewing, I've added some more of that vintage beeswax. Some Tim Holtz vellum paper, just some onion skin paper. This is a double pocket. Let's see. I don't remember where this image, I think this image came from one of the bird books I have. And then I've just created a double pocket here with, this is scrapbook paper, a little bit of sewing. This is just a blank bird card that I've got there. And this is another piece, another page from the Art of Birds book. Again, backed with tea-dyed paper. And then these 2 little guys are from Tracie's Faux Tea Cards Vintage Birds. And I will put all of the links to all of her kits in the description box below. Backside, another, this is just another from my bird book, and just a piece from a vintage book. More of the modeling paste, and this is another vintage ledger sheet. This one is from 1884. And on all of the vintage pages I used in here, I either lined the spines with washi tape or fabric. This particular one is lined with fabric. This is just a piece of parchment paper that I added some lace edge to, a little bit of stenciling. Here's another ledger paper, and I don't know what year this one is from, 1918. This is a pocket created from the Art of Birds book, and so when you open it up, and that's one page pulled out of the book, you get an idea how absolutely gorgeous it is. Little cluster down here with a metal button, and then this is a vintage postcard, and it's made, I don't know if you can see it, there you go. It's made with real feathers, and there are I think there's 3 in here, and they were attached to something at one time, so they have some tear on the back, but they're just gorgeous cards. So I've just got that tucked in there. You can hear my dog running around on the floor. And again, lined with fabric here in the center. There. That's the rest of that ledger. And here's just a little stenciling, and this is another page, the back half of the parchment paper, and I've got that lined. This particular trim, the stitches are very visible on the back side, and so I didn't want the back side to show, and so I put 2 together, so it created a nice little edge there for the book. This was just a piece of ledger paper where I wanted to have add more writing space. All of my journals have a lot of writing space. I try not to overdo them, although this one's been done more I think than normal. But I like to give you a lot of writing space, or space for you to put photographs or do whatever you want with it. Another pocket here created from, this was just a really wide ledger that I folded over, reinforced back here on the back side with some cardstock, and created a pocket. Here's just a little cluster with some strings, some stenciling, some more old ledger paper, and a little metal stencil, and then 2 more cards. Again, from Bumper Birds. Just added a little cluster at the top and an eyelet and some sari silk there. And then this is also from Bumper Birds. I just cut it out and left it as is. I thought it was adorable with the feathers. So that goes in there. There's more onion skin paper and more vellum. Here's another page. This is from Bumper Birds, and this is another one that has the vintage beeswax embossing powder on top, some sewing, and this is another one where I expanded the width of the paper by adding panels in, little trim. And then I also have a tab here on the side that was created with a stick. So that's a real live stick that I put glossy accents on top of, just to seal it in and to give it an extra coating protection. Used some of this blue ticking fabric, did some hand sewing in here to sew it on, added there's a little piece of lace and some string and a little rusted metal doodad. I think that was from like an old bracelet or something. Then the back side has same thing. This bird has the clear rock candy on it. There's a little cluster here where I've sewn the key on, and there's just some other pieces, fabric and some fibers and stuff put together for the cluster. Another ledger paper. And this is actually from the ledger too. This is the back side, and it's just a really old piece that happens to be clear, blank on both sides. More crinkle and more stenciling, and that is the back side of the first signature. Or actually, this is the front of the second signature. This is a page from a book, an old book that I had, and I just cut it out and cut along the shape of the bird here and sewed it on. And then we've just got some pieces. This is also from a book, that piece. This is from Tracie's kit, and I love the owl. He's so pretty. Both of those are from her kit. This is another one of the postcards made with real feathers, and it's blank on the back. And then this is a card from Tim Holtz, from one of the Tim Holtz sets. And I have a barking dog, so hold on. Okay, let's see, turn the page. And then the back here is from a ledger from 1906, and it was a horizontal ledger. So I just love all the handwriting in them. They're just gorgeous. This is a page from an old book, and there's 2 different pages in here, and I sewed them together with a strip of fabric. So the other page is on the back side. Another page from the ledger. This is 1958. I just put a little stenciling on there. A little offset on the back side, which I love because it adds just a little bit of grunge to it. But look at that handwriting. It's so pretty. So pretty. These are 3 tags lined up in, they're created as each one is a pocket. And these are all of the images. These large bird images are from Tracie's kit, Bumper Birds kit. The tag I made from die cut that I had, and then in each side, in each pocket, I have either German to French or no, English to French or English to German vocabulary card. That one says to sing. And then I also have one of the Vintage Birds faux tea cards in each one. This says bird. And then on the back, yeah, that's French, I think. And there's the bird tea card there. And then here to build. And there's the tea card there. So I just have them all tucked in a little line there. Another little cluster down here with a rusted washer, it's sewn on, just some strings behind, some old paper, rusty fabric. Here's another one of the birds fussy cut from the kit. There's some real live tatting here. More stencil, another ledger. I'm gonna start sounding like an broken record. This is really thick paper. 1915. I always think there's another piece stuck to it, but there's not. More vellum. This is glassine paper, which is a really neat feel. More parchment. This is just an old railroad, I think, informed crews work together. Yeah, New York Central Systems. The conductor's planning can prevent something, probably accidents. This is a card that has a blue heron and a baby on it, and I just left that side blank. Here's a pocket that was just made out of scrapbook paper, and another image from my bird book. This I made from Tracie's kit and her bird specimen tag kit. That image is also in the kit, and then the back I left blank for writing on. And then this is just another card, just another bird card. Birds on the front, blank on the inside. Here's the center spread. Lots of stenciling on here with the dirty stenciling, if you will. Both of these birds are fussy cut from the Bumper Birds kit. A little bit of lace on the edge. Here's another little cluster up here in the top with some fabric that's got some French knots, little pieces and fibers stuck to it. And then this is the back side of that card, so it's nice and blank to write on. And this is just a little pocket with some sewing on it. And I just added another little tag here. A little bit of lace kind of around the edge there and some sewing all the way around. Just backed with tea-dyed paper. And that just clips right in there. More of that fun paper. There's some more stenciling. And here's the back side of that 1915 ledger. Here's another pocket that I made from on one of the pagers. And it has another, there are 3 of these tabs with the sticks. Each one has a slightly different cluster on it. This one has some threads behind it, some lace, and a little metal piece. Here's another fussy cut bird, and it's just got some sewing on it. And then inside here is another bird card. and a postcard, but it's not, this is not written on. It's an older postcard. It's really pretty, but it's not written on. It's blank on the back side, so I have no idea what the date is. Another pocket over here, another bird fussy cut, and he's got the vintage beeswax on him, some more sewing, and then this piece is also from Bumper Birds. Then inside that, I just have this little card, again, from Bumper Birds that I just sewed around. And then I've got a calling card that has a dove, I think that is, on the front. And this was, it just says card number 304, fancy colored edge. 12 for 10 cents. You got 12 of those for 10 cents. That must be from a sample. And another vocabulary card. This one says to sing. Tucked in there. More fun paper, more ledger, 1855 it looks like. And then I've just got some more of that tape there. This is the back side. This is the second page where I took 2 pages and sewed them together on the inside from an old vintage bird book. More ledger, and then I've added more, this is painter's masking paper on top here that I've just used matte medium to affix it to the paper so that you can write on it. More stenciling. Another pocket. This is an old Tim Holtz die cut bird from, it's old. I don't think it's even available anymore. This is a frame in the background from 49 and Market. It's already got the sewing on it. I just colored it, added some grunge and some ledger behind it, and then the bird on top. This is an old needle case. I think there might be, yep, needles are still in there. I do not know the year. It's not on here, and it looks like there was something else here that's missing. But these were given out. This is from North American Union Life Assurance Society. And they were given out, you know, as like little advertising pieces or little sewing kits. And so that's in there. More stenciling. And here's the second weaving with the bird on top. And I've just got some lace on the edge here and some sewing down the edge. I left all the strings hang just because to me it felt like that worked and just went with the bird book. And so it's very stringy on the ends, but you of course can chop those off if you prefer them short, sweet. And then here's the back side of that weaving window, woven window. Another ledger piece. And another ledger blank. Here's another little cluster made, expanding the paper, some stenciling, the fussy cut bird from Tracie's kit. And this is the third, let me get this out of the way. This is the third tab made with a piece of wood. And this has a rusted washer, some fibers, and some lace on top. And here's just a collage made with just different pieces, and another one of the birds from Tracie, and more vintage ledger pieces in the back. There's the back of that vellum. Onion skin paper. This is a little envelope that is a watchmaker's, inside a watchmaker's kit, would have had parts inside. And it's the perfect size for these faux tea cards. So here's 2 more of the vintage bird faux tea cards, and I just slipped them right in there, and I tucked it down here in the corner so you could still write on that page. Added a little more trim here. Here's a little tuck. Again, strings are everywhere, and I just left them messy and all over the place. A couple more of those vintage tea cards, and another piece from the Bumper Birds kit that I just cut and left as is. Same, this background is from Bumper Birds. This date on here is from the number snip strips, and the bird is sewn on kind of sloppily. He's from one of my bird books. More ledger paper. And here's another one of those center spreads from the book. This is the actual book page size. And so it's got a lot of writing on the back side. It's called Birds, the Art of Ornithology. So that's the name of the book. Beautiful book. added some painter's masking paper back here just so she had some more writing space. And then on the front, there's another pocket here. This is a piece of trim that has a sewn leaves on it. Tree? Nah, it looks more like a leaf. It looks more like a couple leaves. This is the third bird postcard made with the real feathers, and they're really cool, and they're old. And then this is just a little backed with some textured paper. This is from, I think that's from the bird book, the Birds, the Art of Ornithology. It just tucks in there. Some ripped up ledger paper that's just kind of fallen apart, but lots of lines on it, lots of blank spaces. More lace trim. Here's another, this is from the same book that the cardinal from the front is from. I did the same thing, I just kind of cut around him, sewed around him with some fun stitches, and then created a pocket. This is from Tim Holtz. It's one of his, I don't know what they're called, cards. And another tag I made from Tracie's kit. Also backed with more from her kit. I just got those tucked in there. And that's on top of ledger. Here's some more stenciling, onion paper, more vellum. Here's another little cluster. These are also from Tracie's kit. And these are just some pieces ripped away from some bark paper that I had. And I just snipped them away to create sort of, I don't know, nesty looking things. A little bit of stenciling. The back side, there's this zipper looking sewing. Here's another fussy cut bird and another tuck. On top of this one, there's just some rusty fabric and a stick hand sewn on here. And just some doodads in here, another faux tea card, and more French. Let's see, I think these are French to German. This is observe, and there's the other one. It says bird, and that's also German. And then just a little ticket, a vintage ticket in there. Just got those tucked inside. So all of the vocabulary cards in here are English to either French or German, and they all are related to birds in some way, shape, or form. To build, sing, bird, that kind of thing. So so here we are, more ledger, lots of like ink splatter, splots. I added some stenciling, but this was natural. This was all already here. I love it. Blank on the back side. More crinkle, and then back here I have, this is again trimmed with that same trim that I double-sided, just because you could see all the stitching. Another card from the book, another card from Tracie, and this is the bottom part of a bag, a little glassine bag. This is a Tim Holtz card. And this again is from Bumper Birds, and some ledger behind it there. And then we end it with another pocket here. I don't have anything in this one. I started to get a little fat. So of course anything inside can be taken out and give you more room if you need it. But the backing paper here I used is from a Tim Holtz paper pack, and both the front, inside front and back on both sides, same paper, same piece of paper cut from different spots in the paper, if that makes any sense. So that's it. That is Use Your Wings. She is available. I will be posting her to my Etsy shop and posting this video simultaneously. So if you're seeing this video, she is available in my shop. I just want to say very quickly, thank you so much for your support. It's greatly appreciated. This was a fun one to work on. She's a doozy. She has over 130 pages. I'll do the exact math and post that information down below. 3 signatures. All of the signatures are 5-hole pamphlet stitch sewn in to a hidden spine, and it is a hollow back spine, so you can kind of see the gap there. And yeah, that's her. That is Use Your Wings. She's done. I'm excited that she's done. And this has been my May design team project for Tracie Fox Creative. Love Junk Journals on Etsy. Be sure and check her out. All of the links to the kits that I used are below. And again, thank you so much for your support, and I'll be back. Bye.